I'm joined by Robert McBride, just talking about his reaction to this decision. I mean, I don't think you didn't expect this to happen, but how are you feeling about it?
Well, firstly, let's say on a personal level, I'm feeling quite vindicated, but there's a more profound aspect relating to the independence of Ipid and the principle related to consolidating the independence of Ipid, which has now been confirmed by the Constitutional Court in a very unequivocal manner.
My understanding is now this process must go to Parliament.
Yes.
Are you going to try and seek to participate in that and put your side of the story in front of them?
Well, initially when the rumor of two reports surfaced in the media, I had written a letter to Mr. Bierkman, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, offering to account to the Portfolio Committee and to provide clarity on any issue. That was then declined. So I'll be interested to know if I get called again. But I'm available at all times to provide whatever evidence or clarification is required by Parliament or whoever else.
You've maintained consistently that this case was driven by political motives. Do you have the ability or the mechanisms to actually put that kind of evidence in front of the Portfolio Committee?
Yeah, the evidence is there. It's very clear how it was done. If you look at Kuba's affidavits and you look at my affidavits and the sequence of events of how things developed, and the fact that the three statements by crime intelligence officials, for example, implicating General Sibia, could not be sustained after additional information was obtained in terms of cell phone tower analysis. And the question that everyone must ask is, why would officers of crime intelligence lie against another law enforcement officer? It's just impossible, the statements that they made.
We also know that the same unit that we're investigating, you are now, of course, investigating the so-called SARS rogue unit and the finance minister. You've previously said to me that you would warn Pravin Gordhan to be very wary about what was happening. But why do you think that what is happening in the court today has any bearing on these future kind of cases involving the Hawks? Because within the context of everything that's happening, this is quite an important court victory for you.
Yes, it is, but not only an important victory for me, to remove me out of the equation, for the institution. If you remember, institutions were attacked at the same time, the second half of 2014 and first half 2015. A number of institutions were attacked at the same time. We are now aware that there was a group of people doing it. We know who these people are. We're not sure what the motive was. And a decision was taken to do it, and they went ahead and do it. And that is why you have Nclemeza going ahead, because he's been instructed to go ahead and do what he's doing.
Do you believe the Hawks have been politically captured?
Well, any semblance of independence is absent at the moment.
If you successfully fight this in Parliament and you persuade them that you shouldn't have been suspended, yeah, are you prepared to go back to be the head of the IPID? What's your end game with this whole process?
Well, my end game, I don't really have an end game, but my position is that it was a fight I could not run away from because it involved the independence of the institution. That has now been consolidated and confirmed. As far as I'm aware, there's still a lot of cases that have been not investigated, whilst there are spurious allegations and charges laid against us. There's a whole range of cases laid against senior policemen, charges with evidence to back it up, that has either been put on file 13 or been irregularly nully prosecuted. So there's still a lot of work to do, and that work must be done.
Would you like to see, if you are indeed right and there is no basis to the prosecution, what would you like to see to happen with the individuals that have driven either the investigation or the prosecution?
Well, they require to give the public an explanation as how it came about. For example, the people who laid the charges against Minister Pravin Gordhan and myself did it during May 2015, in the same week. People who know nothing about anything involving Ipid or SARS. People who didn't even live in Gauteng, they laid a complaint so that the back door could be opened. In the event of failing with the constitutional aspects, that they could then open up a criminal charge. So the strategy is plain to see. It's political gangsterism. That's what is taking place. And that has to be resisted at all costs. And institutions in this country have to be protected, because we in a constitutional democracy, and our institutions and the effective function and independence is what makes this democracy work.
Thank you very much, Robert McBride.